You all are somewhat familiar with the Viking Village at this point. It is now in its 5th year of operation, very exciting. Participation is down a little bit this year, but it's still a very active space. We've had over 5,000 different people log in the last 12 months. We get about 1,100 people a month that participate, different participants, and they participate pretty regularly. One of the new things to note about Viking Village is that we now have an actual staff person who's hired to focus on Viking Village. That's JT Williams. He reports to University Communications. He actually takes responsibility for the content of Viking Village. So we still manage the back end. I still manage the back end of it, but yeah, the content is managed by JT. One of the things he started doing this quarter is hosting two weekly meetups in person. You can see right there the first thread, the Eternal Viking Village meetup thread. So they officially meet every Tuesday and Friday from 12 to 4 p.m. This is a little different than in the past when we've had meetups once a quarter, and we've tied those in with group study, the study breaks that we've hosted, and the open house type events within the library. At this point, it's regularly, it's done twice a week. And this has been really popular. They have between 12 and 30 different people who show up at each meeting. There's usually at least 12 people at a time. There is some sort of mixed feeling about this. They have gotten a little noisy at times, but the Learning Commons partners are really excited about this and definitely feel that whole idea of bringing people together informally to collaborate, to work together, that's right in line with the ideas of the Learning Commons, and so we definitely want to keep that going and just keep the conversation with them going as well. One of the biggest things we are trying to do in the future is to really think about how we really use this environment a little differently. We'd like it to really have more of the flavor of the online learning commons instead of just the online forum. There's definitely a lot of great things that happen in the forum, and we definitely want to, that to keep going, but it's really, I think, an opportunity to think about how we utilize the environment in some more creative ways to create a different kind of learning environment, maybe other online collaborative tools that students could use, and then also sort of online resources that the Learning Commons partners have available, like, why not put the chat reference right into this environment, maybe in the Ask area, the ability to submit your paper to the Writing Center, those kinds of actual online things that you can do. If we could kind of put those all together in one place and think about rebranding this not only as, again, just the forum, but as the online learning commons. And that's one of the main things that we're currently thinking about and hoping to continue to grow. So if any of you have any thoughts or ideas about that, that would be great. And if you have any questions or comments at this point, that would be great too.
I have a couple thoughts. I think I remember you at one point saying that you were getting a lot of sort of chatter online, but there was a group that really enjoyed meeting in person, and that you were sort of surprised at the interest in actually face-to-face, one-to-one, that Viking Village was engendering, which is kind of an interesting phenomenon.
Right. Yeah, that's the meetup that happens, like I said, twice a week now, and always a big group that shows up. And they do different things. Sometimes they take a topic from here and discuss it. There's actually a little radio show that's come out of it that they actually have done here.
Is it regularly mostly the same people coming each time, or is it a variety of
There's
different
definitely
people?
a core group,
Okay.
but there are new people that come regularly as well.
They
So
meet here.
They meet here on Fridays. They actually have this space reserved Fridays. I don't let them reserve this space Tuesdays because that's too big of a chunk of time that we might use it. But if it's open, they come in and use it. Sometimes they use 271, sometimes they use 265, sometimes they might just gather here.
I think there'd be any interest in sort of presenting historical photographs of the community of Bellingham and having open commentary on that. I mean,
Definitely, although the community is not part of the forum.
yeah, I mean, but just, it would be shots of Bellingham, the community in which this
Oh,
group
this
lives.
community.
Yeah. So it could be campus shots, it could be, shots of Bellingham, going back to the late 1800s, and a chance. Do you think they would comment on it, or do you think that would be boring?
It depends. If people are from Bellingham, I mean, it depends on where.
Well, they live here now.
They live here now,
Mhm.
so it depends on the student mindset, I suppose. If you're, I mean,
Yeah.
definitely.
There is a lot of photos that people post
Right.
on here. So
there's actively some sort of photo sharing already. I mean, maybe it's a matter of kind of tying it into some of the practices that are already
Right.
going on to find a way that
I was
kind
trying
of
to think
link
of
it,
that
yeah.
idea about learning, you know,
Mhm.
trying to interpret the photograph from different angles. And, you know, it could be a shot down High Street from World War II era, you know, and people have never seen that before, but I may just be a special collections nerd, I don't know.
Well, I think if you ask an interesting question around it and you ask for people, I mean, I think if you do it the right way, if you can really, you know, make people think and then get some interesting dialogue going, I think that could definitely be an interesting usage.
what are some of the non-technical barriers to expanding this to be incorporating more of a learning commons model like you're talking?
Non-technical barriers.
Yeah.
Mostly I think about the technical barriers, but.
I know, I'm trying to stump you.
Yes.
The learning process.
Well, I guess,
I mean, one way of saying it, would there be an interest?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the question, is how do
Yeah.
you do it in a way that makes it compelling, interesting? And what are the real needs that you're addressing, and are you addressing real needs? I mean, that's kind of the key, is figuring out, you know, I mean, we can lots of cool stuff up there, but if nobody wants to use that cool stuff, it's not gonna work. So figuring out really what kind of online support students need for academic success, and then putting it up there in a way that makes it usable, intuitive. You know, I think those are the.
That's why I think photographs are interesting. I mean, the times where I've seen even Flickr be employed with these kinds of collections, and the folks who manage the collections benefit because sometimes you get input, but other than that, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth about, no, this can't possibly be 1943 because,
Yeah.
you know, and.
I think I've seen something like that before, where an old photograph was posted, and then the question was, what's happening here?
Right, and it
What are these
plays
people
into
thinking about? What are
visual
they, you
literacy
know?
and information literacy and
Uh-huh.
the kinds of things that we're trying to teach through Learning Commons. But I mean, my question really to you was, you know this constituency, you know, is that just going to fall flat? Because it's some work to get that together. But I personally find it fascinating. I mean, in the classes that I teach, I always have them do an interpretive piece with photographs and trying to answer questions and find clues. Even why was this photograph taken? You know, what was the purpose of this photograph? And sometimes there's a reason for it, you know. It's,
Right. I think it could be interesting, you know, it's hard to know really what will spark interest and what won't. But if you get the right people. All right, yeah.
Well,
you're
there they are,
definitely on time.
see?
All right.